So, boys and girls, I'm not trying to make you hungry here, but this is a pizza. And a long, long time ago, when people looked at a pizza like this and tried to figure out how they were going to cut it, they didn't know quite what to do. And they kind of thought back to the days when their mom would make brownies and that their mom would cut it going down and then going across. And they thought that maybe that would work the same for the pizza. So they grabbed their knife and they started to cut into the pizza. Well, this person said, "Well, I love my cheese, but I don't have crust." And this person said, "Well, what about me? I've got like the tiniest piece in America here." This person said, "I don't like crust." This person said, "I want crust." Well, very soon, people figured out that to cut a pizza the same way you cut some brownies is probably not the best way to cut it. So, what they did instead is they sort of imagined that there was an imaginary dot right in the middle of the pizza, and then they would slice up to that dot and all the way across. And what they found is that by cutting a circle in this way, they were able to get equal pieces. This is called radial symmetry, when we cut a circle going across the center. If you look at this bicycle, you can see that the spokes of the bicycle are designed the same way. They all go through the center. When you get picked up today, you can look at the hubcaps of the car and you will see that there are lines going towards the center. And if you think about Thanksgiving and there's a pie and you want to go and cut it, you could just follow those instructions right down there on the bottom and you would get what's called radial symmetry, where each slice is the same. Well, I like to sort of think about this as the pizza test. And what is amazing is that there are a whole bunch of things that are like this because God created things to have radial symmetry. If you look at this orange is not, God did not create it to be one big softball-sized piece of orange flesh. No, he sort of imagined an imaginary dot in the middle of the orange and where he divided it into sections with radial symmetry. If we wanted to do the pizza test on this, we would see the same thing. The circle is divided in even shapes. If you look at a dandelion, you might think, "Oh, that's so pretty." But can you imagine doing the pizza test on this? If you look there, here, amazing. The dandelion is, if you divide it that way, it's the same in each section. Now, I like to think I'm smarter than a spider, but it's pretty amazing that God created spiders, that when a spider creates its web, it has the radial symmetry. It passes the pizza test. Here's a plant that we have here in Florida that if you look down into the center, we have symmetry. And I want you to imagine this flower being cut up with radial symmetry. Is that what you were thinking? Same thing in each section. And here in Florida, we don't have snowflakes, but oh man, when you get to see that and you see that each section is identical, but when you look on the arm of your jacket and you see all the flakes and you see that every single one is different, amazing. Now, this is a design that was found on the ocean floor that was a mystery for a long time. I'm going to show you who made it right now. So this is a Japanese pufferfish, and because its coloring is dull, it's hard to see it against the color of the sand. And so in order to compensate for this, the males will try to get the attention of the female pufferfish by making amazing designs using their fins. Now look at this guy going through the sand. He doesn't have a compass. He doesn't have a ruler. There's just something in his brain put there by God, by instinct, that he knows that he needs to make this design in the sand. And he can get that so perfectly mathematically where he doesn't even need someone helping him or guiding him. He just does it all on his own. So he plows through the sand, breaking it up into the finest of particles. Look how, I love how even his little fin there is making designs in the sand. He starts to pick up the stuff that could be perceived as garbage, but instead of just putting it off to the side, he actually uses it to decorate the ridges of the design that he's been making. So cool. He can't rest for more than a moment, but must work 24 hours a day for a week. You know how that is when you put a design in the sand and then the tide starts to come in and gets rid of it. So he wants to make sure that it doesn't get ruined by the current. So he tries to work as quickly as he can to make that design so that he can attract a female. And obviously these pufferfish are still around, so obviously this has been working, that the male pufferfish have been able to get the attention of the lady Japanese pufferfish so that they can mate and have more Japanese pufferfish. So I love this angle, how it starts to come out slowly, that we can see the design. And again, thinking about the pizza test again, I'll bet you can imagine that if we were to put those red lines over it and be able to see the symmetry in this, it's pretty amazing that this pufferfish is making something that looks to me about 20 times bigger than even he is. And it's a perfect design. Now, it's not surprising that people were inspired by the radial symmetry or the pizza design found in nature. This is a piece of jewelry made by the ancient Egyptians. You can see that lapis lazuli in the middle. And if you divide it up like a pizza, you'll see that each section is the same. Now, I don't know if you remember when we studied the Greeks and the Parthenon, and we talked about the Ionic columns and the Doric columns and the Corinthian columns. Well, those same people love to divide up a circle like a pizza. And here's just an example of one that we see on the tiles that they would make and on the artwork that we find. In India, they will make designs where they take colored sand, and they will start with sort of an empty pizza shape, and they'll put the same shape in each section, causing it to have radial symmetry. And if you go into a lot of new and old cathedrals and you stand under the dome and look straight up, amazing, the architects have usually designed that space to be symmetrical, that if you divide it, it looks like a pizza. And here's even one where there's a Bible character in each picture. Here, if you go to Paris, you'll see a lot of windows in the cathedrals that are designed with radial symmetry. And here, you can see that on this door, there are beautiful designs made out of little tiles that also have the same design in each section. That last one was out of wood. This one is from Mexico, painted on bark paper. And here is the Aztec Mayan calendar that was carved out of stone. Here, you may have seen a rug like this before. It's called a Persian rug because it's from Persia. And you may have seen this under a dining room table or in a living room. A lot of people have said, my grandma has that at her house. Well, if you would like to, you could be the strange little child that crawls to the center of that rug and look for, in your imagination, the same shapes that are in each slice. In India, a lot of times when someone gets married, they will have this design drawn on there with henna. And here are tiles that are found all around the world that have that radial symmetry. Same thing in each section. So you shouldn't be surprised at all that today I'm going to be giving you a plain pizza of paper. And you are going to be putting the same shape in each slice to be able to make designs that are as gorgeous as these, if not even more gorgeous. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So boys and girls, it might be a little hard for you to see, but I'm going to be giving each of you a pizza outline with yellow lines. I think if you look, you can see it. And now what I'm doing is I've chosen a shape, in this case, kind of a long petal shape, and I'm putting one of them in each section. Here I'm now taking a green circle and I'm rotating my paper so that I can put the same shape in each section. Now, if you're doing it correctly, you should be able to count that you're making 8 of each shape because there are 8 sections. So here I'm taking my purple one and putting kind of a petal shape around there. Now I'm taking a red and adding a little shape. And you might look at it now and say, whoa, I could never do that. But you can see that I started with just a very simple thing from the center. But if you just keep adding and adding and adding and adding, before you know it, it's going to end up pretty fabulous. You can add a little bit of texture through designs that you can see off of my idea sheet. But then soon and very soon, you will be taking some paint and being able to color it in each section, one petal at a time or each section at a time, kind of reinforcing the design that you did. And then eventually you will be painting around the outside edge with the same color. Let's go ahead and do that now.